All right, should I get started with the intro?
Si, senor.
All right.
Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. All engine running.
Heyo.
Guys, welcome to
Welcome to the podcast, people.
Fatal Lunch 2.5. So this is a continuation of our other episode.
Which, if you've made it through the whole thing, thank you. We're gonna get better at this. We're doing it. I'm not gonna apologize anymore.
Watch the other episode. Link will be in the description. So
I'm wearing a jacket today. It's actually pretty. Oh, dude, it's dark as hell in this. You know what?
That's better.
So yeah, go watch the video so you could get context for the stuff we're about to
Dude,
bring up.
my studio lights are remote controlled. That's pretty cool. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, Producer Pallet. Why don't you tell us who we are today?
All right, yeah, we got PJG, we got Willer Biller, we got me, super producer James Pallet.
Hola, mis amigos. K Tall.
And once again, watch the other episode so you get the context of this episode.
I'm feeling goofy today. I actually loaded up an opening two. I got like 2 or 3 opening clips. I'm gonna start with this one right here. This is what I thought was a good opening clip. But this one right here, this one got my goat.
Okay. Something bad's gonna happen.
We gotta watch it one more time. He's like, just take the fish, Gator. Just take the fish. It's got the perfect amount of suspense.
It's like Hitchcockian.
I know, it's just like last minute. You're like,
subverts your
crap.
expectations.
And then I'd like to, this last opening clip, I know you're only supposed to have one opening clip, but guess what? We do it our way here at the Fatal Lunch Podcast. And if you don't like it, stick around, subscribe, please. We'll get better.
It's our show. We do what we want.
Or what the people suggest time and time again.
They can catch it. They can catch us outside if they don't like the way we
do
things here.
I don't call it selling out. I call it moving up. I'm part of a new nation, by the way. Remember how we kind of talked about religion last time?
Mm-hmm.
I discovered online.
It's not the Black Israelites, is it?
No.
Okay.
Far superior in my opinion, but I found my allegiance to a new guy, and we'll feature him more heavily on. I mean, he might even be better than Glycine.
That's a bold statement.
That's a tough one.
So I am now part of the David Nation.
This fool.
The David Koresh Nation, or just David?
I am part of the David Nation.
Okay.
It's tempting, but I can't leave the Glycine Nation, you know?
What the fuck is the David Nation? It just that's my algorithm. The clips that you guys are going to see are literally I didn't choose. They chose me. I don't know how my algorithm. You would think it would be what guys are into: fishing, hunting, girls in yoga. No, it's the David Nation and an alligator and a guy shooting chili. And it's so funny because like if my wife finds my phone, she can feel free to go through it. She'll probably leave feeling worse than if it was like me talking to other women, because it's just
it's your unconscious.
I can't wait
expressing itself through social media.
There's just some stuff in here.
Algorithm.
Like I've got a would you rather coming up. I had a bunch of clips that I was going to prep, but I kind of got unorganized. I'm not so good at this yet, but I have one I think you'll like. It's a would you rather, but remind me about that later. Maybe we'll break up because I think we got to get back into the old Jehovah's Witness finish that up real quick.
And once again, watch the last episode to get the context. This is continued.
Yeah, so basically what it was I admitted on episode 1 I didn't know the difference between Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses. So producer Pallet put together a small piece explaining it, and then Will put together a mega piece explaining it. And we kind of burnt out at the end of the episode. It was hot in here. We've been running long. So he's going to finish up where he was, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a piece of art up in the background and say, Mr. Will, take it away.
Nice. Okay. So, as you all know, last episode we talked about just some of the history and some of the peculiar things about Jehovah's Witnesses.
For my sake, because I don't know, and I kind of learned. It feels like the Jehovah's Witnesses are more culty than the Mormons. Isn't that weird? But they're both pretty culty. They both seem very isolationist, very like you're either with us or you're not. Kind of. I don't know.
A lot of cults have the whole idea that like you're either part of the cure or you're with us and you're part of the cure, or you are the disease. They have that very like either or kind of like false debate, ultimatum thing that goes on with their belief system.
But pick up where we left off.
Okay,
I'm trying to adjust your actual reaction cam because I know people are going to go crazy. I think the whole thing is. I think everything is kind of. Let's see if we can adjust this real quick without.
But don't you want to believe that there's a bunch of like kind of Nordic, European, very white gods looking down on us, making sure we're going to be okay as the world's ending?
That's all I'd ever want.
Look what we have going on in the street. You have like police militarization. You have like suburban people who are afraid they're running into their homes. But it's okay because the European gods are looking down on them, making sure things are going to be okay. Okay, so on this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about their belief system. We won't. I don't know how long we'll go with this because I think we want to talk about some funny clips too.
We got to like the 20s or something, right, where they finally changed their name to Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
And
so I don't know why they picked the 1914 date as the world is going to be ending. I mean, it's a pretty good guess if you're predicting in the late 1800s when the world's going to end. I mean, you could do a lot worse than saying 1914, which is the official year that World War I started, and it just kind of set off a chain reaction of bad events that led into, the disaster that was the 20th century. But anyway, so we'll talk about some of their beliefs.
You say disaster, but I say we got the Crunchwrap Supreme, baby.
Oh, we did get some good things. We got the computer out of it. We got antibiotics. We got
Crunchwrap Supreme,
shake weights. we got other things. We got the internet.
I don't know if the shake weight is still around.
It's still around.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It's got to be. There's got to be like an exhibit in the National Archives where it's just a bunch of like shake weights in display cases.
So anybody watching episode 50, who sees this episode and goes back and they catch us at like episode 50, then they go back and watch us from the beginning, and they're on this episode, send us a shake weight. We'll have a P.O. box by then, and we'll put it up on the show with no explanation except for the real ones who know why. And we'll make it a custom fit lunch shake weight, and we'll mail it back to you.
We'll sign it or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mail me a figure of Jimmy Carter.
Oh, by the way, where's Bush?
Oh, he's in my truck.
Okay.
We'll get him out when we talk about we'll talk about like the Iraq War or something one day, and we'll bring him out.
Bring out Bush.
We'll bring out the merch. So anyways, so we're gonna talk about some of their belief systems. JWs, as we affectionately or J-dubs, as we affectionately refer to them as, do not celebrate holidays. PJ, did you know this?
Do they have any holidays, or they're just?
I think they celebrate some holidays associated with like Jehovah. They have some. I'm sure they have some religious holidays, but
I don't think they do at all. They don't celebrate anything. I'm pretty sure.
See, the biggest thing
ones I think that pertain to their belief system, like they don't celebrate like. They don't celebrate birthdays. They don't celebrate Christmas or Easter, all of which they believe possess pagan elements in them. Birthdays are seen as a form of idolatry, a celebration of oneself over God.
Now, how does that overlap with Mormons? Do Mormons celebrate anything?
Yes, they do. They celebrate like the generic holidays.
Yeah, they have like, I mean, they celebrate marriage. I think Mormons do. So they do Mormon baptism. There's some things they celebrate.
Next time we compare religions, I'm gonna have a board, and I'm gonna put one checkpoint if I like that compared to that.
Yeah.
So far, I'm on the Mormon side. I'm trying to get turned up on Thanksgiving.
I'd rather much be a Mormon than a
Jehovah's.
Yeah,
the Jehovah's are dorks.
Well, I think I know why.
Mormons are kind of dorky too, but at least they're like pro
You know what?
family.
Well,
they have some good things about them.
Before we talked about this, I watched like 15 Watchtower videos, and they told us why they don't celebrate birthdays. They said the last 2 birthdays were like celebrated with really bad emperors that tortured people during their birthdays. That's why.
Yeah, well, during the first century, I mean, Christianity was very fiercely persecuted by the Roman Empire. Like, there's a bad fire. I probably talked about this already. There's a really bad fire in Rome. And I think in like 60 AD. Anyways, it got blamed on Christians. Nero blamed. I mean, things I don't think politically were going too well for Nero, so he decided to blame Christians for a really bad fire that happened and killed a bunch of people. So a bunch of Christians got crucified for that.
Didn't Nero eventually burn down Rome anyway? Or was that?
I don't think it was like a false flag thing. I think that there was just they had poor like fire safety.
Caligula. I'm thinking of Caligula.
Yeah,
right?
you might be thinking of Caligula.
That guy was
Anyways,
mad.
I think that like the Apostle Paul got beheaded because of the fire, and some of the other like famous like disciples. I mean, Paul wasn't a disciple, but like some like prominent people in like first century Christianity were killed during that. I think Peter got crucified upside down because of the fire in Rome. I might be wrong about that, but and back to J-Dubs. Christmas is seen as a pagan Roman holiday used to celebrate the winter solstice. The winter solstice is the period in December when there's a maximum amount of darkness or nighttime and a minimum amount of daylight. But daylight slowly returns after that, and so it was a big pagan festival. And so that's one of the reasons why Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate it. Eggs and rabbits are seen as fertility symbols during Easter, so that's why they don't celebrate.
You know what this is starting to sound like? This is starting to sound like any right-winged boomer woman who's slightly Christian started adopting these ideas during the like pandemic, started getting into Q and was like, I can't celebrate Ishtar because it's got rabbits and it's a pagan holiday.
Yeah. Well, most right people, like kind of evangelical Christians, do celebrate Christmas because they take the pagan roots of it and turn it into like celebrating new life in Christ. You know,
which is hilarious because Christmas is based off of a magical dude who died and poof, it's just as whimsical. And
most people don't think Jesus was born in December. He was probably born in like late springtime or something. You know, he definitely wasn't born in December, on December 25th.
He was born on September 11th.
But I think when
I'm not even joking. If you could do a quick Google. They surmise that they think he was born on September 11th.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I think in order the reason like the Roman Church did that in like the 4th century when Rome finally converted to Christianity, which is is an insane historical event that I think people don't really appreciate, that like the pagan like powerhouse of the world just randomly like adopt this kind of like offshoot of Judaism, you know, like as like their major religion. So that's a crazy story that we could get into.
So in that book called what's that book called? I can't remember the book.
50 Shades of Grey.
Close. When they converted to Christianity during that time, they were doing a lot of psychedelics, which I found interesting.
Oh, you're talking about the mushroom and the cross or something like that.
Something like that. And so a lot of the iconography was because of the psychedelic use. And then I believe as the Christianity kind of ramped up, they had to go underground.
Yeah.
And do their rituals there because it was all offshoots of those Eleusinian mysteries, I think they were called. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of like Greek mystery cults, and they were definitely into psychedelics. And I'm sure the Gnostics were into psychedelics too. I don't know if like first century Christians were doing mushrooms, but the Gnostics, which came later, that's probably like second century AD. They were for sure doing mushrooms and had like psychedelic rituals.
Well, they found ritual sites in, I want to say modern. I might be way off. It's either No, what's the one north of what's a country north of Greece? Why can't I remember the name of the stinking country?
Crete?
No, a country north. It's still around today. Not
Syria?
Macedonia, not Syria. It's directly across the border. A lot of these people moved to
Turkey?
Greece. No. It's right there. It's in my head. I can see it. I'm gonna.
Well, wait, I'll read some more while you're looking that up, okay? Military service is also seen as a form of idolatry because it is service to the state instead of service to God. The same is true with voting. And similarly, Jehovah's Witnesses. There's
Albania.
Albania, okay.
There, I guess they found some old Roman sort of Christian buildings that have some vessels that appear to be used with psychedelic wine in it.
Yeah, and beer might have had like ergot in it or something. Or
yeah, I think the wine,
purposely put ergot in it to have like a psychedelic experience.
Well, spiced wine was very popular. Then they found like psilocybin, ergot, and all this crazy. For people who don't know, ergot is like the main ingredient in LSD.
Yeah,
and it also can kill you. So don't play with ergot.
Yeah, definitely.
Or do have the best night of your life.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Well, it's a toxic
fungus.
Yeast, right?
Yeah,
that was a yeast.
Is it a bacteria? All I know is it affects cereal grains, and it can ruin whole crops. And if you eat the infected crops, you'll have a nightmarish LSD trip. That's like so. Then they actually refined LSD out of ergot. They got ergotamine.
So they synthesized it, or they made it. So
it's called ergotamine.
Yeah,
but yeah, and
you think our Albert Hoffman, our friend,
those
who were
dudes
for inventing LSD in like the 30s or something. I can't remember how he invented it by accident, right?
Yeah, well, he was looking for something in particular. I know people probably know more about it. I can't remember, but he had spilled some on himself, didn't think much about it, was riding his bike home, and just started having vivid hallucinations.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, like the people who invented MDMA, they all kind of were around at the same time, and they were just testing these drugs on themselves, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Or fun. Don't know.
And then Jehovah's Witnesses also don't believe in blood transfusions because there's a passage in the Old Testament. I can't remember where it is, but it basically says that like the spirit resides in the blood, so you can't get a blood transfusion because you're getting someone else's spirit in you if you do that.
What about Mormons? Do Mormons get blood transfusions?
No, they get blood transfusions. I'm pretty sure.
Another checkpoint for the Mormons. I'm almost on Mormon gang right now. I'm kind of on Mormon gang.
Yeah.
Well, okay, hold on. Where is like the center hub of the Jehovah's Witnesses? Because Mormons got Utah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Utah's pretty freaking cool.
They don't have any.
It's
a disenfranchised like Wayfair group of Jehovah's Witnesses.
They build their places everywhere.
The J-Dub started in like Pennsylvania, and then they moved to New York, so they're kind of like a northeast coast thing. They're all over the world right now, but I don't know where like their central church is, but
I don't think they have a central church. I think their websites they're central.
I don't know. I'm another checkpoint for the Mormons.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, that's why they don't believe in blood transfusions. So this is just kind of like a little background on like Jehovah. Jehovah's Witnesses emphasize the use of God's name, and they prefer the form Jehovah, a vocalization of God's name based on the tetragrammaton.
Tetragrammaton.
They believe Jehovah is the only true God, the creator of all things, and then the universal sovereign ruler. They believe that all worship should be directed toward him and that he is not part of the Trinity. Consequently, the group places more emphasis on God than on Christ. And so J-Dubs famously reject the Trinity. They think it's a form of like polytheism. So they
So then Jesus isn't a figure in Jehovah's Witnesses, or
no,
he's just
is
not an important figure.
He's like the number 2 figure.
Gotcha.
Jehovah's the number 1. I think Jehovah created Jesus, and then Jesus created everything else. So he's the one. I think he's the one being that God created. Christians would find that offensive, and then Jesus created everything else. The Trinity just says. I mean, that for people who don't know, the Trinity just says that like God has 3 unique personalities that are all separate from each other, and they're all eternal, but they're all united by one like God essence. So that's the Trinity, and Jehovah's Witnesses hate that because they say it's a violation of like monotheism.
So God
and
has,
then Jews and Muslims make the same argument.
So God has DID.
What's DID?
It used to be called multiple personality disorder.
I think Christians would say, I mean, I am a Christian, but they would say that like he's such a like there's a paradox because he's an infinite being, so he has multiple personality. He has like multiple like
iterations,
parts, multiple parts to his like existence. It's not contained in one being. It's like three beings, but they're all combined. They all like share in one fundamental divine essence, but they're three separate beings that aren't the same thing.
So DID, like the guy from that movie Split. Did you ever see that? It was like part 2 of Unbreakable.
No, I've not seen Unbreakable.
You never seen the original Unbreakable with Bruce Willis?
No, I know of it. I've seen parts. I think I've seen parts of it, but I haven't seen the whole movie. It's been
so many years since
I need to see more M. Night Shyamalan movies for sure.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, you can. They're whatever for the most part, but I remember liking it when I was younger, but I haven't seen it in so long. So I had, you know what? It's not fair for me to talk about movies. I'll qualify by saying the last time I was in the movie theater was for the Avatar movie, the first one. Not the second
good movie.
Yeah, it was all right. I can remember a guy named Jake Sully, I think. I think that was the main character.
Uh-huh.
And that's about all I can remember from that movie. But I got to get into more media. I don't have a lot of time. The last decade and a half, I've just been working 60-hour weeks, doing nothing but, collecting gray hairs in my face.
Yeah.
So I don't really watch it. I got to season 3 on Game of Thrones about 8 years after it came out. It's a good show. I don't think I'm going to finish it. It's a good show though. But this isn't the episode to get into that. Let's finish this J-Dub, and then I got a Would You Rather.
Yeah. So the Jehovah, I think it's like an English rendering of the Tetragrammaton, which if I pronounce it wrong, I apologize. It's the Hebrew 4-letter name for God, which some of you probably heard about. It's the YHWH. It's pronounced. No one really knows how it's pronounced, because ancient Hebrew didn't have vowels in it. You had to add the vowels to ancient Hebrew.
Spell that tetra word for me.
It's just YHWH.
No, the long word. The tetra.
Yahweh.
No, the from the tetra what?
Tetragrammaton.
How do you spell that?
Tetragrammaton.
Got it. I went to how to pronounce. So you ready? Let's hear how to pronounce.
Yeah.
A Hebrew word that represents the name of the biblical God of Israel. How do you go about pronouncing this word? Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton.
That guy sounds so Jewish.
Thank you, Skynet, for correcting me on that.
Tetragrammaton.
Yeah, so it's
Tetragrammaton.
What they call God?
Yeah, well that's God's unique name from Exodus, the book in the Hebrew Bible. So basically, without going into too much Bible history, Moses, before he gets sent to Egypt to on God's behalf to free the Jewish people, Moses asked God, who should I say sent me? And then God says, like, tell them that, like, I am who I am sent you. And it basically is just like the Jewish name, or the Jewish letters are YHWH, and it basically just means like I am who I will be, or I am who I am. And it's the Tetragrammaton, or Yahweh. That's kind of like God's unique personal name. And previously in the Bible, God didn't reveal what his true name was. He just said that, like, I am El, or I am, like, the Lord of, like, Jacob, or the Lord of, Israel, of Abraham, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's unique to, like, Jewish theology, because it's like God's personal name that he doesn't say willy nilly,
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
All right. Are we almost at the end?
Oh, yeah. So we got. So let me talk about Jesus real quick. According to the J-Dubs,
gotcha.
Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Jesus is God's only direct creation, that everything else was created through him by means of God's power, and that the initial unassisted act of creation uniquely identifies Jesus as God. It's begotten Son. Jesus served as the Redeemer and a ransom sacrifice to pay for the sins of humanity. They believe Jesus died on a single upright post. He wasn't crucified on a cross. The Romans just had, they believe, I don't know where they get this from, but they think he was just nailed to a post rather than a traditional cross.
Well, I know where they got it from. They used to crucify. They had different ages of crucifixion, allegedly. They started with like tree branches, and then they did use posts where they would kind of do their hands above their head.
Yeah. And
the post actually became the preferred method because it was the cheapest. Because if they were going to kill someone, why would they build a cross?
Yeah.
It was just an unnecessary step. So most likely, most people who were crucified throughout those times were probably crucified on a post as opposed to a cross.
Yeah.
Which there's some really funny Christian art out there of Jesus walking around with a cross. Like, why would he have the cross before he was?
Well, the cross was like 800 pounds or something, and he wouldn't be able to.
No. Jesus walking around with the symbol of a cross.
Oh, okay.
Like, why would he have that symbol pre-crucifixion?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it the fish? Wouldn't he walk around with the fish symbol?
Yeah, that would make more sense. But I just think it's funny because there's art of like Jesus sitting with the disciples, and there's like crucifixes on the table.
I got a question.
Well, so the fish thing comes from like the early disciples were all fishermen,
Yeah.
and then Jesus performs miracles on like the Sea of Galilee, where he turns like the loaves and the fishes into huge amounts of fish and loaves to feed 5,000 people. So that's kind of where that comes from.
Well, one question for you. I'm not going to ask Dad because I know Dad's going to say no, but do you think Jesus founded the Catholic Church?
The Catholic Church is the first Christian church.
So you think Jesus founded it?
The Catholic Church didn't come until till Rome officially like adopted Christianity as their official religion, and that was like in the 4th century under Constantine. But so I wouldn't say Jesus founded the Catholic Church, but
Keanu Reeves started a church.
Yes. If you read the Synoptic Gospels, there's a part where Jesus tells Peter and this is my rock, and this is who I will found my church on. So if you could say like from Peter and the original 1st century church to Christianity taking over Rome and the Roman Empire in like the 4th century.
Wait a minute. So which church?
It's kind of a stretch to say that.
So what church did Jesus go in and flip tables? What's the church, the Sepulchre or the Temple of the Mount? Which one is that one?
No, it's the I'm not even sure what the Sepulchre is. I think that's like a famous European church. But the whole thing with
that's the Jewish church, I believe, that has to be rebuilt like 4 times before God comes back. It's like the Holy something Sepulchre. But I've also heard of the Church on the Mount or something like that, which is one of the ones Jesus. That's why he got in trouble with Rome, is because he went in there.
So I think what you're talking about is the Herod's temple, like the rebuilt like Jerusalem.
What is
temple.
that thumb? Huh? The thumb is back. What is that thumb? It just pops up on my computer.
Hey, I know why Jesus got in trouble. He vandalized the Romans. Okay,
but allegedly,
I learned from a very factual movie.
What was that movie?
Life of Brian.
Oh, it's a great movie. I love that movie.
I haven't finished it.
But you're talking about the money changer incident, PJ, where like he walked into the Herod's temple or the second Jerusalem temple, and he flipped over the merchants there who were selling doves to like Jewish citizens so they could sacrifice them, and because he thought they were taking advantage of the.
Well, apparently goats were peeing and shitting all over it and everything too.
And the whole thing, this is all alleged. My father's house is a house of worship, and you've turned it into a den of robbers. So that's kind of where that comes from.
That's how I feel after I take no.
More. So here's kind of a strange thing, or kind of an interesting thing. I don't say strange. Interesting thing. J-Dubs believe biblical references to the archangel Michael, Abaddon, and the word are interpreted as names for Jesus in various roles. Jesus is considered the only intercessor and high priest between God and humanity, appointed by God as the king and judge of his kingdom. His role as a mediator is applied to the anointed class, though the others are said to also be benefits of the arrangement. So I was a little bit confused about this. Some J-Dubs think that like the archangel Michael is Jesus, or Michael is actually a form of Jesus or something like that.
Did you ever watch that movie Michael with John Travolta?
I'm thinking, when you said that, I'm thinking of
Phenomenon.
Phenomenon. How did you know?
Because everybody gets those two movies mixed up. No, Michael is not nearly as good as Phenomenon, but we'll do a Michael watch party one time. I'm good, dude. You know what? I'm just gonna say what everybody's thinking who's watching this. The framing is so bad. Hey, I'm learning.
It looks good. I like it.
Well, I mean,
I love the art. The art's amazing.
Yeah, I've been popping up different art pieces throughout this. I like this. Well, this one's kind of cool. Let's take a closer look at this real quick.
So Michael he's in the book of Revelation, and I think he's in the book of Daniel. I don't think he's anywhere else in the Bible. So, but I got kind of confused about whether the J-Dubs think Michael is Jesus or Jesus is actually Michael's just one of his forms.
You'd think You'd think, like in this picture, if you look at it, you'd think, and this is just me guessing, you've got the army on the ground. It appears to be the American army. Then you've got the Jehovah's Witnesses standing by watching this sort of war. You would think that, yes, we'd have guns and bombs. But if you were ascending out of the heavens, you probably wouldn't need weapons. You know what I mean? You could probably do some god magic and just flatten everybody.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing god magic with like bows and arrows. I don't know. They're spiritual arrows. They're very potent. They're very powerful. They can penetrate through like Abrams tanks and I don't know.
Here, before we continue, let's break it up real quick. What do you guys think? Let's go to this right here. Let's see what we got here. This clip is important for one piece, and you guys will see it if you have an astute eye.
I can't dance like that.
Nope, that's not it. There's something that's going to happen. We'll probably get pulled for copyright, but fuck it. Look at Grandma. Grandma's having a good time back there.
As she should.
Now, looks like Grandma's time isn't so good.
What kind of beer is he drinking?
All of it is the answer.
I thought it was a Keystone.
Probably. They don't drink Bud Light no more because it's gay beer. And it just ends with Grandma flipping off the camera. Did you catch it?
I totally missed it.
Here, I'm going to scrub forward. This is why. Like I said, my algorithm's so weird. And I'll sit and watch all these videos. If I'm taking a crap, yes, I bring my phone in the bathroom. Or if it's Saturday and I got shit to do, I'm scrolling. I can't help it, you know? Or listening to whatever. But so for some reason,
I would do that, but
for some reason at the end, Grandma just changes her mind.
I'm afraid the NSA is going to like record me using the bathroom, and then they're going to try to blackmail me with it later.
You missed it again, Will. Look at this. For some reason, it just ends with Grandma at the very end. And it just ends. She's just flipping off the camera. I thought that clip was neat. I don't know. Do you guys want to take a detour, or do you want to get back to Jehovah?
Well, how about I'll list some topics, and if you guys want me to talk about them, I'll talk about them. If not, we'll move on to something else.
Well, how about this? What do you want to wrap up about the Jehovah's, and then all three of us will say if we had to choose one, who we'd be. What do you think?
Okay.
And I do kind of understand the differences now. The biggest one I didn't understand, and what brought me to this, was the people who go door to door. I thought that the Jehovah's were the white shirt name tag.
They both go door to door.
Yes, I know that, but I thought Jehovah's white shirt name tag. Turns out that's Mormons.
That's the Morms.
The door to door, the ones who look like they're going to look like they're going to a Sizzler on a Wednesday night. those are the J-Dubs.
The J-Dubs dress very formally. They look like they're in like LA Confidential or something. Like their dress code. Like guys wear like coats and like hats and like dress pants and slacks and ties, and they look very formal. And the ladies wear very conservative like long dresses and stuff. And
they're usually white. And like I said, it looks like they're going to Sizzler on a Wednesday for the shrimp special.
They look like they're white.
Which, by the way, did you hear that Red Lobster is going bankrupt because they said we ate too many shrimp?
Yes, I've heard that.
It turns out that's not the reason.
No.
It turns out that they sold out to a Chinese company that was selling bad shrimp. They pretty much, the original shareholders sold. We'll get into Red Lobster on another one, but it's just another example of evil corporations putting the onus on us. It's not our fault. We recycled. You did nothing with the recycling, and you blamed us for this mess. Don't give me
that. And it's just hard to run a restaurant chain right now in the 21st century with
cheddar biscuits,
high taxation,
Cheddar Bay biscuits,
and high overhead
I can't remember
costs.
what they taste like.
They're fantastic.
We got to get our hands on some. All right, next episode, Cheddar Bay taste test.
All right, so I'll list out some topics. You guys let me know if you want me to talk about them. If not,
are you going to finish? Oh, about the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah. So
I was thinking, just pick the one you think. Here, me and Pallet.
Okay, so I could talk about Satan. I could talk about life and death, life after death. I could talk about no heaven for humanity. The Garden of Eden will be remade. I could talk about eschatology, and that's about it.
I would say do whatever happens after death, because Mormons, what do Mormons get when they die?
They get like their own universe.
Yeah, you become your own god.
And so let's compare that to the J-Dubs, and then with that, we will sign off. But real quick,
Back in the days, men lie about their age to go in the war, to die for their country, to defend their country. But these days, these fucking men cut their dick off to fight against women. What the fuck is that shit? We need to do something about it.
On gang.
My algorithm, again, not transphobic or anything like that. I have no idea what it amazes me.
I barely understood what he said.
Hey. You're half Mexican. Calm down over there. All right, let's compare what happens. So the Mormons get their own universe already. My ticker's going towards that. Let's see what Jehovah's get.
Here's the thing that kind of perplexes me about Mormons. Men get their own universe and become their own god. But what is that the case for women? Women just kind of become...
There is absolutely no way that any religion is misogynistic. And for you to imply that might be the case is the most offensive thing out there.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, women get a brand new Swiffer.
Yeah, you think
it's really nice though.
Yeah, it's the
like,
upgraded model.
You can clean a kitchen floor in like 10 seconds with that thing. That's how good it is. So yeah, I don't know what happens to women after in Mormonism after they die. I don't know if they become their own like female god. They don't get a bunch of like male servants, do they? I mean, it seems like that's only fair.
You would think.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, no religion treated any woman bad.
Not ever. Not here. Not now.
No.
Not ever.
Especially, I'm not going to say their name.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens to.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Okay,
to
so
LJ
we'll talk about eschatology and then life and death, and then we'll move on to something else. So J-Dubs believe death is a state of non-existence with no consciousness. So you don't burn in hell.
That's good.
If you're a J-Dub, right? Yeah, I think that now this isn't their original idea. I think they got this from Adventists. So there is no hell or fiery torment. Hades and Sheol are understood to refer to the condition of spiritual death, termed the common grave. Witnesses consider soul a life or a living body that can die. They believe that humanity is in a sinful state from which release is possible only by means of believing in JC, whose atonement on the cross covered the multitude of sins that humanity committed, and their kind of the moral gap between them and God. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that a little flock of 144,000 humans, which I call the Super J-Dub Club, go to heaven, but that God will resurrect the majority to a cleansed earth after Armageddon. And this is what when I talked about the Garden of Eden being remade. So most people, if you're above average, if you're ordinary JWs, you do what you need to do on Earth. You'll be reborn in the Garden of Eden, the remade Garden of Eden. But if you're a super JW, then you'll be one of the 144,000 that like rules over the whole cosmos.
Yeah, those are like
with
CEOs.
JC and Jehovah.
I'm pretty sure.
So everybody who's a Jehovah's Witness can go to the Garden of Eden, but 144,000 of those are sort of the higher chosen ones.
Yes,
basically.
yes.
Okay, I thought they were only going to take 144,000 in general, but for everybody, not.
So I think that's been you might be right about that. I think that's a mistake about Jehovah's Witnesses' belief that only 144,000 will be saved. It's 144,000 that are in the super club that are like the judges of the whole universe with JC and God. And but the rest of like the decent Jehovah's Witnesses will be remade, and they'll live paradise on Earth in the remade Garden of Eden. But they won't be a judge of the whole universe of the 144,000.
That just got my wheel spinning. Do the Jehovah's Witnesses have an internal structure? Do they sell anything?
They sell.
The only reason I ask, go ahead.
I think most of they make their money through getting tongue tied right now. They make most of their money through like donations from members
because
and I'm sure that they sell like
Watchtower.
Yeah, well they have a magazine that they sell, and then there's a JW translated version of the Bible that they also sell. So scholars have said it's one of the worst translations of the Bible because it's just full of JW theology and it's warped. And it's a terrible translation of the Bible.
So that got me thinking.
But they do sell that.
So that got me thinking.
It's called the New World Translation.
So if only 144,000 of all the Jehovah's Witnesses get that higher level, doesn't that sound suspiciously like MLM? Doesn't that sound
a little bit? It's for sure a pyramid,
like a Jesus pyramid scheme. That's pretty insidious. That's kind of dark.
Well, here's how they would defend it, right? So. Say you're just kind of you're an ordinary JW. You follow all the rules. You go to church. You do what you need to do. You tithe. But you didn't go the extra mile.
You didn't sell extra books.
Yeah, you didn't sell extra books. You weren't a super salesman for the church. You didn't go door to door all the time. You didn't do missionary work. So why shouldn't the 144,000 if you're in the super club, you should get that extra privilege, right?
Brother, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it right here and say, if I had to choose, I'm Team Mormon. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Team Mormon. All the way. Jehovah's Witnesses, you get the... Sorry.
Well, yeah, it feels like they're against anything fun. It's like, oh, you play with... I even saw the Watchtowers. It showed a kid playing with, like, a wizard toy, and the mom was like, oh, that's pretty evil and against Jehovah. And the kid was like forced to throw it away, and she was like, "I'm very proud of you."
So they're just the Karen Fun Police pyramid scheme religion. You know what? I'm not making fun of anybody who chooses to believe in that, but I'm just making fun of that in general.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
They're very devout.
I'm also not religious, so I have no skin in the game, and I'm not going to protest any religion, but I'm just saying, I'm Team Mormon, bro. Let's go to Utah. Yeah. Let's go hang out with some Mormons.
Other than the blemishes on
well, we won't bring up Brigham Young, and we won't bring up someone
who was a murderer and an awful human being, but
but the what $11 billion they've been hiding from the government or whatever it is that they just got caught with, and the probably the horrible treatment of the sister wives and the
I think there's some financial problems, or not problems, but like there's a bunch of like funds that have been misappropriated in the JW Church. I think I read some article from 2018 that says they're worth about $2 billion. So where all that money is going?
Rookie numbers.
Yeah.
Look at the Mormons. Those are rookie numbers, dude. Yeah, I'm Team Mormon. Let's go. Joseph Smith.
Okay. Let me read about eschatology, and then we'll switch to something else, okay?
All right.
Eschatology is just theology that predicts the end of the world. Okay, so essential teaching of the Jehovah. Oh, and by the way, some of the stuff I got from Wikipedia, so I don't want to be guilty of any plagiarism. I wrote a bunch of notes and I got tired, so I some of the stuff I lifted from Wikipedia just to save on time. This is for eschatology. Essential teaching of Jehovah's Witnesses is that the current world era or system of things. That's a cool term. Entered the last days in 1914. I don't know where they're getting this 1914 thing from, but they're obsessed with it. But it's interesting. We talked about last week how like they predicted that the world would end in 1914, and the world didn't end. So they kind of had to change some of their end times theology to reflect the fact that the world didn't end in 1914. And they said something that like Jesus came back invisibly to the world. No one knew he was back, but now we're heading towards the world ending and the Garden of Eden being remade and all the stuff that the J-Dubs predicted coming true, but it's invisible. You can't see it. Okay. They made a prediction in the late 1800s that didn't come true, that the world now faces imminent destruction through intervention by God and Jesus leading to deliverance for those who worship God acceptably. They consider all other present-day religions false, including Christianity, identifying them with Babylon the Great, the harlots from Revelation 17. Oh, the PJ, the 144,000 is straight from Revelation 2.
Gotcha.
They believe they will soon be destroyed by the United Nations.
Wow.
Here's the thing, though. You might think that's a crazy idea, but how many people on the right are talking about like globalism being like a toxic cancer and like building a one world government that's persecuting all of us, you know? So hey, man, they like it's not that far fetched of an idea.
How about this?
Think about the World Economic Forum and
yeah, but how about this? Take your average Jehovah's Witness, pick them up and drop them off in Rafa, and interview somebody who's really being destroyed by the United Nations.
I agree. It's absolute tragedy what's happening in Rafa right now, but we can't get into that. But it's
that just got the whole episode demonetized.
Yeah,
I was talking about Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. He's on the run from the UN.
I'm perfectly fine with getting demonetized for saying what's happening in Rafa right now is a fucking travesty. You know?
It's episode 2.5. We're not even in monetization yet. We could probably still play copyright written music for the next 10 episodes.
Anyway, so Satan will subsequently use world governments to attack Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses have been being persecuted in various parts of the world. I know they were persecuted in the Soviet Union for sure, so were Christians. Will prompt God to begin the War of Armageddon, during which all forms of government and all people not counted as Christ's sheep will surely die. God will extend his heavenly kingdom to include earth, which will be transformed into a paradise, and we talked about that already.
You know what? I'm sick of all these religions having these persecution complexes. Yes, it's happened, but look at the Jews. I'm not saying what they're doing is good. I don't agree with the war going on now, but they are the most if you want to talk about being persecuted, talk about thousands of years of being moved around, killed, murdered, and then these white people from Cleveland, the UN is going to come and get us. It's like, okay, they're stealing Jewish clout, basically. Anyway, didn't mean to derail.
No derailing at all. Jesus Christ began to rule in heaven as king of God's kingdom in October 1914. There's that year again, and that's Satan.
So where's God? If Jesus is ruling the kingdom of heaven, where's God?
I think he's in the background of the cosmos, and
Tetragrammaton.
Or whatever the hell it was called.
So Jesus is like the CEO of the universe, and God is like the principal stockholder. So the principal like owner.
So basically, what it is God started the company, retired, and gave it to Jesus. So
yes.
Jesus is a nepo baby.
Yes. That's a good analogy according to the J-Dubs. Satan will subsequently be ousted from heaven to the earth, resulting in woe to humanity. They believe that Jesus rules invisibly from heaven, perceived only as a series of signs. They base this belief on a Greek word, parousa. We talked about that last week. That's straight from the New Testament. Usually translated as coming when referring to Christ as a presence.
So I parousa.
They believe
quite a lot.
They believe Jesus' presence includes an unknown period beginning with the inauguration as king in heaven in 1914 and ending when he finally comes to bring judgment against humanity on earth. They depart from the Christian belief that the second coming of Matthew 24 refers to a single moment of arrival on earth to judge the world.
Okay. Well, again...
Okay. Smoking and drinking? You guys want to hear about smoking and drinking?
No, I don't want to hear about the Jehovah's no more. I made up my mind.
So they can't eat any food that has blood in it. They can't smoke. They can drink alcohol in moderation as long as they don't get drunk. Christians do the same thing. Some are vegetarian, and smoking and tobacco products are forbidden.
You guys are losers.
Yes. Here's some of my closing remarks.
Oh, man. I want to get off this Jehovah's. I'm done with these guys. Yeah. They're for the cows. Well, get it.
They've been accused of abusing some of their members in cult-like fashion. They've also received some criticism for child abuse. It's a dark subject we're not going to get into on the show. And
that's every religion, though.
They've mishandled. They've also been accused of extremely mishandling those incidents. I didn't have time to get into all these topics. And as a report of 2018, the church is estimated to be worth about $1.5 billion.
This fool.
So in closing, if you're more curious about the Jehovah's Witnesses, just wait around. They'll come knocking at your door.
Yeah.
Team Mormon over here.
Just make sure you tell them, dude, what's up with 1914?
In a couple episodes, we should compare Taoism to Buddhism.
Taoism's fascinating. So is Buddhism.
Right? Aren't they sort of a branch of the same?
They're different.
Well, no, I know they're different, but I don't know the difference. We can
talk about it.
Anyway, what do you will? Are you Team Morm or are you Team J-Dub?
Despite Joseph Smith's major character flaws, like he started a treasure hunting scheme and a banking scam, I'd have to say I'm Team Morm.
There we go. Let's go. And tell you what.
Here's the thing. There's a church called the Fundamentalist Mormon Church, which is they're more hardcore than the Mormons, and they're more like the J-Dubs. They're more like the J-Dubs.
Yeah. Well, if you go anywhere in Utah and you look at I think they call them temples. They don't call them churches. I think they call them temples. Just compare one of those to any Jehovah's Witness church. Already you can see where the money and the creativity is.
They're called Kingdom House.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, the Mormons.
That's what the Jehovah's Witness church is called.
The Mormons got the architecture thing down because the Mormon churches look like they're from the Wizard of Oz. They're pretty cool.
I see them.
I have to say, they're better than the J-Dub churches, architecturally wise.
You know what the JW logo is?
What?
It's their website.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's freshen it up. I got something for you. I don't know why. I was going to put together this whole. I have this whole scheme of these. I have videos of people getting hurt. I don't know why those pop up, and a lot of them sometimes is mild, sometimes is not so mild. And I was going to be like, would you rather be run over by your own tractor or ejected off your motorcycle? But I didn't have time to prepare those clips.
Ejected off my motorcycle.
So what we're going to do is this one, would you rather, and this one made me really start laughing. Okay.
If the fans want, maybe next week or down the road, we'll talk about Taoism versus Buddhism.
Yeah, no,
that'd be
for
a
sure.
topic of discussion.
I never, like I said, I was never really into religion. I thought it was like a weird, violent thing for dumb people, and that's such a short-sighted way to see it. As I've gotten older,
Okay, Richard Dawkins.
yeah, well, come on, that's what I was raised on. I'm a millennial who was on the internet in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm an atheist.
Don't say you were raised on that.
I was.
Yeah, take a look at your mom.
What do you mean?
Your mom's like the most religious person ever.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I didn't listen to my mom.
Oh.
I never listened to her. What are you talking about? I had her mom's. He's here. She said I couldn't really mention anything about her, so I'll keep it brief. But,
Yeah, but-
you've met her. You know what it's like.
We'll refer to. I want to talk about people, but we'll refer to them anonymously. Yeah.
But anyway, so my would you rather? Would you rather every time you slept, no matter what, this happened to you? So every time you slept, no matter where you could be in a hospital, you could be in a clean room, somehow the flies got to you.
The bug curse
Yes.
or sleep apnea.
No, the whole thing.
Sleep apnea is no joke, PJ. That affects millions of Americans every year.
I'll talk
They
just-
get poor, has medical complications, and it destroys their quality
I'm
sleep.
just talking the flies. Every time
okay.
there's nothing you could do. You can't put a bag over your head, or you have to finish this jar in a week.
This is a jar of skin. Every time that
that
shave
is
my feet or
awful.
even rasp my feet, and every time that I shave my hands or rasp my fingertips or even do fingertip maintenance, I add the
Why?
skin to this jar. This is nothing I would have done on my own. Thank you very much, TikTok.
Thank you,
guys
TikTok.
requested this. I know that seems impossible to most people, but in fact,
Look at that Parmesan.
this is a big fan request, and here we are. Look at how full it is. We started this jar last
like a whole
April,
human in there.
So it's been almost an entire year. And I believe I said in that first skin jar video that I
Stop
thought it would take
showing
about
that
a year
it's
to fill up. And here we are.
brutal.
It might take
Stop
us
showing
through
this to
May
us.
or to get to like the actual.
Why are you doing that?
Serious. I'm with her.
This is like the Travis Scott apology.
What is she
bro.
going to do with the skin? What are you doing with the skin? What do you do?
It holds memories, Dad, okay?
But
It
what's
holds
the end goal?
memories.
What's the end goal? You're just going to have jars of
She's
skin?
going to make a giant skin pie, okay?
But to do what? Anyway,
She needs to go to a dermatologist. That she
It
should
was
not be
looking
losing
bad.
that much skin.
It's looking bad.
No, I'm the bugs. All the way. I'm not eating that f***ing jar.
So you have to
Does
finish
she have
that.
psoriasis or something? or-
Probably, but my
that's horrifying.
My would you rather? Would you rather every time you sleep those bugs, or you have to let's change the parameters because the bugs are forever, so skin's forever. Have to eat one of those jars a month.
I'm
Bugs?
gonna go with the bugs. And no, I hate bugs. But ugh. Now, are these like mosquitoes, or are they just like gnats that are annoying?
It's one of three. It's housefly, black fly, and mosquitoes.
I don't care because we're in California. We do not have malaria here.
No, but you're gonna lose
could
so
change.
much sleep. You're gonna lose so much sleep. That's the thing, and that's for the rest of your life.
I don't
You
care.
could sprinkle that skin on a pizza.
I'm not eating that skin.
I'm team skin.
I'm gonna get the mosquito net and
just not-
go the bugs.
They get through the net.
If
Okay,
it was
okay.
that just one jar skin, but one jar a f***ing month,
Yeah, one
that's
jar a month.
terrible.
Or just never sleep. Listen, people in the comments, either put face flies or skin jar. Team face fly or team skin jar. I think I'm team skin jar, and it's kind of because you can kind of just you might even get used to it. It's gross as shit, but
I'm gonna go I'm probably gonna go with the bugs. I'm gonna take
the bugs.
the dissenting
Every
the dissenting minority opinion here and go with the
every
bugs.
single time you sleep.
I can't have sleep apnea though.
That's not that much bugs. though.
Where is this?
It's in it. Where do you think it is, Will? It could be one of three places. Either Santa Monica, Omaha, Nebraska.
Or India? I'm gonna say it's India.
Nah, I'm gonna guess LA.
It's just making me itch looking at it.
I know.
And I'm not. Bugs don't even skeeve me out.
I don't like bugs.
What is his breath? Wait a minute. What is his breath
What's
smelling?
screaming in the background?
Look at how deep his sleep is. He looks like he's sleeping like a baby.
That's because he's had It's because he hasn't had sleep in 5 years. His body finally said, we got to go. It's over. All right, so I guess this is you and Pallet's fate. And I'm here.
This is a jar of
No, I'm not watching this shit again.
That's
This
horrifying.
is a jar of
That's my fate. Right there. Every month, just sprinkling it on my salad. Throwing a little bit.
You're gonna be like, you're not gonna be able to eat that. Man. You're gonna be throwing up. Like,
I think you'd be surprised. Sprinkle a little bit on a PBJ.
This fool.
Just blend it up. Make a smoothie, a skin smoothie. Okay, that one's grossing me out thinking about doing a skin smoothie.
I'm thinking of like just the mold or the yeast or the just
I'd like use it
gross
as
fungus that's on that.
like breading for chicken tenders. I guess.
chicken tender. Yeah, how is that gross when eating flesh isn't gross to us? You guys are hypocrites. How dare you? But
This
okay,
fool.
let's see what. All right. You guys made up your decision. I loaded.
Can you deep fry it and make it into
You
like
can do whatever you want. The whole goal is it has to get in your body into your digestive tract.
what do they call like the fried pork skins? Chitlins?
Chitlins, yeah,
Chitlins, yeah.
or chicharrones,
Rinds.
yeah, pork rinds.
Can you deep fry them and make them into chicharrones?
Will, that's disgusting. Why would he even say? I'm appalled. No, of course you can do whatever you want with them.
I might change my answer then if you can
locked
do it.
in.
Okay,
Locked in. Your fly face.
Fine.
Your fly face.
I'm flip flopping right now. I'm like W.
I mean, I can make new friends. You know, what if I was a bug whisperer? And
You're not gonna make friends if they come over and see your weird skin jar that you have to eat.
You're not going to show no one that skin jar. Imagine you just set up a hilarious scenario. Let's say you're 15 and you're doing a sleepover, right? And it's your first sleepover, and it's about time to go to sleep. You get all your sleeping bags placed out on the floor, and all of a sudden all these flies start popping up on the windows and shit. And the kids are like, "What the fuck is all these?" You're like, "Oh, it's nothing." Anyway, we had fun. Pillow fight? No, okay. We're going to sleep. And as you start to fall asleep, you just start getting swarmed by flies. Could you imagine everybody else at the sleepover is like, what the fuck? Or you fall asleep at work as an adult and you're just covered in flies.
That's awful.
You got to take public transit and you take a nap. Like that, I'm team skin. Sorry. So I got a couple more clips. We're not going to get through them all. What's our time right now, Pallet?
57:32.
Can you put like bug spray in like a humidifier? Maybe that, it's just
trust me, the rest of your life is probably combating the flies. But we can either go. I got a couple.
That's like a Kafka torture, where you go to sleep and you wake up and there's just like bugs everywhere.
So I'm kind of obsessed with India in a weird way, as you can see. I think it's okay. I think
you're obsessed with India, and I'm obsessed with North Korea. So
I think
we're not the same, PJ.
No, I think what's happening is I think that the algorithm, we used to make our algorithm by looking certain things up. Now I think the algorithm is making us interested in things we weren't really aware of before. Because I think I'm a victim of my algorithm. So I got this Indian dude. If you guys want to watch him, it's about food, his videos or whatever. And then I just have random clips so we can wrap it up in any way. Let's see what my clip 10 was.
Tell me why.
That's great. That's good.
We can finish with a bunch of those, but let's do my Indian guy thing.
Okay. Our show just turned into your mom's house.
Hey, that's getting cut. That's getting bleeped. All right, so this is Indian dude.
Today I am going to show you Hawaii Adda restaurant. This is located in my local
Thank
city.
God there's subtitles.
Thor. First of all, I bought entry ticket. The entry fees is 50 rupees. This is very expensive for me because I am very rich. As I enter in Hawaii Adda restaurant, wallahi, I saw this airplane. This is looking very beautiful. Yeah, and here is very crowd. The mostly people taking selfie here because this place is very nice. This is Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, and Monkey. I saw
Hulk, Thor, and Monkey. He's like, this is Hulk. This is Thor. All the Avengers are here. We got Monkey.
What's King Kong's Indian name?
I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I was going to do it. You almost got me there. I was almost going to do it. I'm not going to do it. King Kong. Okay, I did it. God damn it.
Nice.
The airplane going to fly. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so that's that one. Now,
I could
there's
not
a theme to
understand
this.
a word of that but without the subtitles.
I'm working on something here. I'm working on something that's kind of related to that. Let me see.
He speaks English better as an ESL person than I would speak Hindi or Pali. But
so it's funny because we're like, oh, dude, learn English better. But let's see. People find it offensive when you do other accents, like it's cultural appropriation. But then we get mad when we can't understand people's accents, and so we expect them to do our accent. But to them, that would also be cultural appropriation, right? We're like, when they come to America, we're like, oh, I can't understand you with that. It's not an accent. We have an accent too. There's no such
everyone,
thing.
Everyone has an accent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I don't know. Right. That was just the
cultural appropriation's dumb, but whatever.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But though, like, he's doing a great job. His first language is harder. But I just think it's funny when people. But here's another one. There's a theme here. So he went to a restaurant there.
Today I got invitation card for wedding. So now I am going in the wedding with my uncle. When I reached in the hotel, I saw everybody having food. After 5 to 10 minutes later, I got food. What this is Urad Chawal. Mostly people invite us in the wedding for eating Urad Chawal. So I have just finished my food and now we are going back to home. After reaching at home, I didn't nothing. What I slept whole day. Okay, bye.
So a lot. It seems like a lot of it has to do with food. Is this the food that they're eating?
Oh, looks gnarly.
Gnarly isn't even.
Looks like it's like sewer runoff. It's a
There's like people sneezing.
It looks like something from the chum bucket.
Yeah, this guy's got chum bucket
How
vibes.
much? Okay. Take the skin off the table. You got to drink one of these a week.
Nope. I don't want cholera.
So it's clearly an aloe vera juice. That's why it's got that viscosity. But my God,
is that matcha tea? What is he?
It looks like maybe some matcha, some cane sugar.
All right, we're taking a trip to India and drinking this.
Woo! I mean, I would. Hey, okay. Anybody who listens to this, I'm gonna do a GoFundMe. Send the Fatal Boys to India to drink this dish. But first, we have to figure out what that is. And hopefully, this episode gets 11 views, and then all of a sudden, the podcast does well in a year or two from now, and we forget about this. And one of those dweebs is like, "Hey guys, you remember you said you would drink the goo? I raised $1,346 for your tickets." And we'll be like, "What goo?" And we're gonna look back at this and be like, "God damn it, PJ, why'd you say?"
Let's go to India. That's gonna be
India is lit. I'd love to go.
Yeah, not the city though.
I had a friend who went to India, and she said she did not have a good time, and she was not treated well by the locals.
My God, I don't know. Just that
like
bag.
Aloe and eggs.
Just that sneeze in the beginning.
It's like sewer runoff.
I think if I drank that, I would shit my body out.
It's water from the Ganges.
Dude.
It does not look good.
I would shit my whole endoskeleton out, bro. Why did I say endoskeleton? I would shit my skeleton out.
Okay.
What part of India is this from? I'm curious.
That's hard to tell. I mean, India is giant.
I know India is giant.
India's giant, and India and the United States, in any of the big countries like China, India, United States, Canada, Mexico, they have this thing where if you don't live in that country, I gotta put this down. So, if you don't live in that country, I put it down so it was out of frame, and you immediately. It's a tripod for phones.
It's a great Alice in Chains album, bro.
But they do this thing where if you don't live in the country, you hear of L.A., New York, Seattle. So in India, we know of like Delhi, or
Mumbai,
Bombay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Or I would like to see Kashmir.
But
I would like to see Kashmir.
That's not part of India.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Or is it part of Pakistan?
No, Pakistan's on one side, Kashmir's on the other side. They were parts of India, but now they're not.
Aren't they kind of like
they're Muslims?
Yeah, but the border is disputed, right, between India and Pakistan, the Kashmir area?
Yeah, because the Kashmiris, they're Muslim.
It's close to India. I want to go to Kashmir.
I believe that they're genetically Indian people, too. I don't think that there's anything different. But anyway, so like I said, India, we could say that that's any of the big cities, but chances are it's something we've never even heard of. Or it's literally Cleveland.
The Cleveland, what's the Cleveland of India?
The Cleveland Indians. All right,
They're not called the Cleveland. Are they? Are they still called? I thought they changed their name. They're not the Cleveland Indians anymore, right?
Let's see. Let's Google. Let's Goog.
Oh, they're like the Cleveland something else. Cleveland like Warriors or something.
They're a baseball team, right?
Yes, but I don't think they're the Indians anymore. Because the whole like that's offensive.
Cleveland Guardians.
Guardians. Yeah, there you go.
Man, why we got to take everything away from the Native Americans?
I think it was named after like a Native American who was like an old school MLB player.
Yeah,
the natives
the
don't
first
even-
Indian, Mr. Indian.
The natives don't even give a crap, too. It's
No.
the funniest thing.
What do they? I mean, why don't they ask like the local native tribes what they want the team to be called and call it that? You know,
It's just annoying white people thinking they're doing
I don't know.
something.
It's just.
I have no opinion. I have no gravity. Like I can't. My opinion doesn't really matter. But we should have a Native American baseball team.
We should. We did until like kind of wokeism ruined it.
Well, this isn't that podcast. We're not Rogan. I'm not going to sit here and talk about wokeism.
Okay.
But it'll probably come up at some point.
Hey, who says I can't be bald and smoke weed?
I think wasn't it the logo that they found offensive? So that why don't they could just change the logo?
I don't really know what they found. The last baseball game I ever watched was with you at the Dodger Stadium. What, a decade ago with your dad?
Sad to say this, posting this on YouTube and Instagram, but sad to say this, Spider-Man the Spider-Verse Collides is canceled to fall break because my friend Harold, who's going to make the movie with me, is back next week from Kansas City, but my dad's having back surgery, so yeah, and it's going to be the end of start of school and stuff. So fall break, I'll not go with my grandparents down to wherever
I just found this wholesome.
going to go, and with them, and we're going to make Spider-Man fan film. Spider-Man sad.
I didn't know Tim Dillon was into Spider-Man, making Spider-Man fan films.
It is kind of like Tim Dillon, right?
Yeah, he's got the breathing patterns of like a 35-year-old obese
To
man.
say this, posting this on YouTube and Instagram.
I don't even.
I'm going to go on a limb and say this kid does not have a healthy diet.
You can't judge a book by its cover. You're only looking at his face. You know, you don't know what his body looks like. That's my algorithm too. I have no idea. It's Spider_ourboy52. I don't know what you do, but I approve. This is more of my algorithm. It's Mr. Pallet's younger brother making a TikTok when he was a baby. It gets crazier the more you look at each one.
He acts like my brother, but my brother's not Chinese.
Oh, we saw that one already. I think that was all my clips.
My brother's Japanese, bro.
Yeah, that was it. Maybe. Oh yeah.
Everybody gone back to situation, aggravation, everybody allegation in the street, on the news, everybody gone, bang, bang, shot dead, everybody gone. All I wanna see is that they don't really care about us. Ahí estamos.
Felicidades, Michael, todo lo mejor y buena suerte.
So, can we still cosplay Michael after everything?
Well, we have the Goose, tell the viewing public about the Michael Jackson scale that you came up with, or do you want to save that for another episode?
Oh yeah, what was my yeah
the Michael Jackson scale?
Yeah, how I grade like something like what, man, dude, I came up with this in high school. Young Michael compared to old Michael, like what was it? You're gonna have to refresh me because I literally came up with it in like high school. It was like how much? Yeah. So Michael Jackson, objectively not a good dude.
Yeah.
But also donated billions of dollars and probably helped a ton of people. A ton of people. So the Michael Jackson scale is basically, yeah, he probably had kids.
I think
makes them absolutely horrible, but
I think
also probably saved a ton of lives. So
I think the Santa Barbara Police Department found CP on his computer.
Probably.
So there were a lot of allegations against him at the Neverland Ranch.
People who impersonate him. Look at this guy. Even looks like a ghoul. Michael Jackson. I'm just saying I used to have this like weird scale. I'll have to remember it exactly, but yeah, I have this Michael Jackson scale of like somebody who gets canceled. How bad did they do? But how much good did they do?
Yeah, it's someone who's like a highly morally ambivalent person, someone who's done a lot of good in the world and also a lot of evil. And how do you grade them? And how do you what is their legacy?
Is it Jackson 5 Michael or is it Thriller Michael?
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Jimmy Carter, I think.
Or is it like sleepover at Neverland Ranch?
Michael.
Okay,
check this out. I had a friend. I won't say who his name was. He was in my fraternity in college. He actually, when he was a kid, he went over and visited Michael and Bubbles at Neverland Ranch. Now, he didn't spend the night. He did not spend the night.
Or so he says.
But he told me that he met Bubbles, he met Michael, and he said Michael was really nice to him. But he was not allowed to spend the night.
So let me ask you. So they had a lot of fun, right?
Yes.
He
did not spend the night.
No, he didn't have to spend the night. Okay. But Michael, he brought out some soap and some water and some wands, and they blew bubbles together.
He did not say that. he just said Michael was very shy.
Hey,
I don't think you got what I was saying. They sucked the chimpanzees.
Yeah, I got where you're going.
Can you rate somebody for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen Bubbles? Bubbles is like a full-grown chimp now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's what they do. They grow.
Yeah, but he can't Michael had to get rid of him because he got too big, and so I think he's at like a chimp sanctuary.
Do you think Michael Jackson?
Super producer, look up where Bubbles is now.
Well, we can do that in a sec. Do you think Michael Jackson's face? He's going to ask us a question real quick. Do you think Michael Jackson's face is actually f***ed up because it got ripped off by Bubbles, and they tried to hide it from like the public?
That may have happened. I think what happened is that Michael just got tons and tons of plastic surgery to look like Elizabeth Taylor and his other like idols from like that he was into. You know, I don't remember who else Michael was trying to look like, but I know one of he did want to look like Elizabeth Taylor, and there's a couple other like I think female pop singers from the past that he wanted to look like.
All right.
What were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask you to rate somebody for me.
Who's that?
Dr. Seuss wrote a bunch of great children's books. Yeah, he wrote a bunch of great children's books, but also he cheated on his wife when she had cancer, and he was a racist douchebag. So,
was he a racist douchebag?
Well,
I mean, have you read?
No. Here's where he's getting at with racism. He depicted like animals that look like Chinese people.
Yeah, I just heard he was really racist.
There's no evidence of him being racist towards people, but some of his depictions and cheating on his wife who had cancer. They may have had an agreement because if she's going through cancer, he's still a man with needs. Maybe she was like, if you need to go release that demon seed, you know what I mean? Who knows? We can't get into it.
I'm gonna say you can be a good person and be a husband and still like you look like MLK who like cheated constantly on his wife, but did a lot of good in the world. So I'm gonna attack your idea that he was a horrible racist.
Bubbles
piece of shit,
is still
Aiden.
alive, by the way. He's right here.
There you go. Thanks for looking that up.
That's a cute little chimpy.
I like Bubbles.
How old is he? Born in 1983.
Bubbles is
41 years old.
Yeah, chimps only live to be about 40. I think they don't. I mean, he's an old chimp.
There's that dynamic duo right there.
Oh my gosh,
that's the one.
So Aiden, I'm gonna push back a little bit on your whole thing that Dr. Seuss is a racist piece of shit. So he wrote a book called The Sneetches. It's a fantastic book. It's about like one of Dr. Seuss's characters, and he cons a bunch of racist Sneetches who are prideful off of their identity. Like they think they're better than their other members of their group. So there's one Sneetch that makes a bunch of money off of them.
Are you talking about the Stars?
No, yeah, the Stars. It's called The Sneetches. It's a great anti-racist book. Now I know he did do some kind of like he did portray Asian people terribly. And like because I think Dr. Seuss did do some World War II propaganda I think way back in the day.
I heard somewhere that he was like a racist asshole somewhere. I heard it from a lot of people.
The Sneetches is a great. He has some character flaws like all of us, but this is a fantastic book and it's an anti-racist book.
I just heard a lot of stuff going against him, and
so we're gonna put him at like teenage Michael Jackson. Problematic, but not quite.
Yeah.
R-wording kids.
And he did some great things, man. Sneetches is a great book. I had trouble getting to Saul Salou is a great book. He had some other. He wrote some like very. There's impressive moral messages in some of his books.
Pellet, you're a little bit younger than us. And you were in school more
If
recent
you asked
than
me
us.
if I read Green Eggs and Ham,
No.
everybody's read that book.
No. How much was Dr. Seuss in your going to school? Because when I
read
was
like a lot of his books. I read Mulberry Street. I read The Places You'll Go.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not a big fan of All the Places You'll Go. No. I'm thinking of something else.
Green Eggs and Ham. Obviously, everybody on this planet has read Green Eggs and Ham. Ooh, there was a couple other I read. I forgot the one fish,
two fish, red fish, blue
that's
fish.
just that's more kind of like his.
Well, what
like,
about this one?
That's his kind of his simpler books that are just to help young kids learn how to read. So
Besides not the movie, but did any of you actually read the book?
Oh yeah, I did.
The Lorax is good too.
No, not the Lorax. Oh no, I'm talking about this book, Cloudy with a Chance of
Yeah,
Meatballs.
I did read the real book.
Dude, my mom used to read this to me when I was young. This was what like my favorite. I love this stinking book.
See, the thing is, I always got confused because they had this tall, lanky guy, the main character, but
he's not in the book.
Yeah. I don't even think there was a machine that made it in the book.
No. It wasn't. It was hubris. But here we go. Patreon exclusive. I'm going to read Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs in a couple weeks on Patreon. We don't have a Patreon yet. I'm just saying that because that's what podcasters say.
It's a pretty short book.
Yeah, I'll actually do it. No joke. I'll actually do it. Because I can already tell people are going to be like, oh, PJ's voice. His voice is so bad. I'm
going to say that about me too, so don't worry. We're going to get some haters.
I remember my mom reading me this book.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember my mom reading me a fairy tale book, and I forgot the name of it.
Fairy tale. Was it Stinky Cheese Man?
Yeah, Stinky Cheese Man. That's the one I remember.
Man, my brain is killing it with those references today.
I mean, he might have been racist about some things. He made some racist art, but he did a lot of good in his life too. He got kids excited about reading. He had a cool, unique art style. He actually wrote a book that was against racism. It's a fantastic book.
Did you ever read this one, Will?
Oh, I still have the Stinky Cheese
I have a
Man.
signed.
It's fantastic.
I have a signed copy. The author signed it for me.
It's never too early to teach your kids about postmodernism.
Where's my copy?
That's Stinky Cheese
That's
Man.
the signed copy.
I love the Stinky Cheese Man.
I got the signed copy.
I gave you it was the birthday gift for you when you were younger.
I remember I read this book like every night.
So, have you read? I had trouble getting to Salt Slough, PJ.
No.
It's a fantastic. There's a great message in it. So I'll just describe it real shortly, and then we'll go back to talking about other like great kids books. But so it's about this like a character who tries to get to like paradise. And no matter what he does, he can't get to paradise. It's impossible. So what he does, he decides.
Sounds
to do,
like my anxiety dreams.
Yeah. So he can't get to whatever he does to try to get to paradise. He gets sabotaged or something happens and he can't make it. So he decides like that. Well, I'll just stay where I am and I'll try to make the best of it and be the best person I can be because I can't get to paradise. And I think it's a lost cause to try to get to paradise. It's just got a fabulous message and more kids should read it. And it's just kind of unfortunate that I don't know, like because some of like kind of the racist art and that Dr. Seuss did that like kids aren't reading that or aren't reading like the great moral message from like I had trouble getting to Saul Saloux and the Sneetches and some of the other great books.
Well, what I think is crazy is trying to ban books in general. I can understand you're not going to want to get the anarchist cookbooks to a 6th grader. I understand that point, but banning books is not a good sign. What's up?
Agreed.
No, wasn't it? I forgot. I remember Stinky Cheese Man very little because I remember it was a little satirical, right?
Yeah,
it's very satirical kind of like
it was like joking with all the fairy tales and all that stuff.
That's what it is. It's really funny. I feel like it actually hot take. I think is what inspired Shrek. In my opinion.
Book what?
Probably.
Was that book
I can see it.
Was that book meant for like adults or children?
No, I think it was. I think it was like 1st grade to 6th grade.
I think it was for kids, but like adults would get like the more kind of like edgy comedy and like the more kind of like postmodern.
I need to watch.
Shrek is Stinky Cheese Man.
I need to read Stinky Cheese Man.
I'll try to find your copy. I may have it. But there's 2 ways to end this show, and one way is let's make a song about the things we talked about, an AI song.
Yeah. Okay.
The second way you'll see on an episode in the future, I literally blow us up with dynamite. That's the second way we end the show. So
You'll get thrown in the volcano, in the Scientology Dianetics volcano. Pop that up right now.
Figuratively speaking. So all right, we're gonna go with a.
We'll get our OT levels up, people. We'll get better at this.
This is a good one. The Jehovah's Witness sucks so much air out of them. Not what you did and how you did it. That was fine. I was just like halfway through. I was like Team Mormon. Like, get out of here, Jehovah's. Create.
They're very, I know the Morms are very they're very pro family, and they got a very tight knit circle, and they're all about the community, and it just Joseph Smith and who's the other monster who came after Joseph Smith?
Brigham.
They were not good people. They were not good human beings.
No,
but the Mormon Church today is fine. And there's a lot of good people in the Mormon Church, even though they have some kind of
So let's start
peculiar
with
beliefs.
So what style of music do I tried Mongolian throat singing? It didn't really pick up. Joe Rogan had Duncan Trussell on, and they did a whole Mongolian throat singing segment.
Let's do bluegrass. Bluegrass.
All right, we'll go bluegrass.
How's Rogan ripping off our material?
That's what I'm saying. We're not on the internet yet, so whatever. But I've been on the throat singing train forever. So style. Listen to that.
Hell yeah.
All right. So what did we talk about today?
The J-Dubs.
How are we going to start this? So only one person. Oh, remember,
dog, it's 1914.
Well,
the world is ending.
This is a bluegrass
I'll be
song.
ascending to heaven.
Say that one more time. Hold on.
Thing.
Say that one more time. We all got to be quiet. We can only all talk one at a time. So 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yo, dog! It's 1914. The world is ending. I be ascending to the afterlife. The Garden of Eden being made, but all I got is a Gatorade. PJ, help me out with some of these lyrics.
All right, so that's the beginning. So now I'm going to count you down from 3, and you're going to go the second lyrics. 3, 2, 1.
I got flies on my face, eating skin in a jar.
It's Alice in Chains album.
All right, okay, my turn. You ready? I'm going to go to India and eat at a restaurant, but first I got to stop by a street and get this gooey, sweet treat drink.
Oh, I got one.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
We got 3 fascinating characters: Thor, Hulk, and Monkey.
That was good.
Thor, Hulk. Hold on. Thor, Hulk, and Monkey. What else do we have today? What else? We gotta have a chorus. Okay, so
we talked about a lot of stuff. I can't remember it really.
Yeah.
My goldfish memory.
I'm gonna end it by clicking on, and we'll just all speak.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I can't really remember everything we spoke about today, but it was a good episode. I think we had a lot of fun.
We talked about Stinky Cheese Man.
Oh, Stinky! Someone's got to make a rhyme about Stinky Cheese Man.
Stinky Cheese Man. He don't smell like ham. He smells like stinky cheese, man.
That's crazy.
Perfect.
Anyway, thank you for listening to the podcast. This is a bluegrass
Thanks for listening,
outro.
everybody. Woo!
Woo! We're gonna listen to the first outro together, and then the second one we're gonna fade out.
This is the start of a great thing, but we need you to be a part of it. We need your support, right?
Yes.
You are the Fatal Lunch crew.
So all right.
We can't do this without you people, so support us.
Song is gonna be called
Like our episodes.
Gassy.
Go to our Patreon, even though it doesn't exist yet.
Not yet. Oh, again, if you got anything you want to market, multi-level marketing, if you got Avon, if you got, come on here, bro.
Ooh, should we have the 144,000 club?
Yes.
Oh,
that'll be
that'll be our Patreon.
My eye is bugging me. It's like inflamed today. All right, so the song is called Gassy. We're gonna listen to the first one together. Second one will be the official
insects
outro.
flying on your eyelids when you're trying to sleep that just appear out of thin air.
Dog is 1914. The world is ending. I'll be ascending to the afterlife. The Garden of Eden being made, but all I got is a Gatorade. DJ, help me out. Some of these lyrics. Flies on my face, eating skin in a jar. I'm gonna go to India and eat at a restaurant. But first I gotta stop by the street and get this gooey sweet treat drink. That fascinating characters of Thor, Hulk, and Monkey. I can't remember everything we spoke about today, but it was a good episode.
And Monkey.
I had a lot of fun talking about a stinky cheese man. Oh, stinky, some guys make a lyric rhyme about stinky cheese man. Stinky cheese man, don't smell like him. He smells like stinky cheese man. Very perfect anyway.
What was that voice? Sound like harmonica.
Thank you for listening to Podcast. This is a Bluegrass. Listen to the first and then the second one. We're gonna say a great thing, but we need you to be a part of it. We need your support, right? Yes. Your dog is 1914, the world is ending. I'll be ascending to the afterlife. The Garden of Eden.
I'll try to put in the AI artwork somewhere in here of the title.
Some of these lyrics. Flies on my face, eating skin in a jar. I'm gonna go to India and eat at a restaurant.
Well,
but first I gotta stop by the street and get this gooey sweet treat drink. Fascinating characters of Thor, Hulk, and Monkey. I can't remember everything we spoke about today.
It's just replaying it. I'm gonna play the second version. That's gonna take us out. Thank you very much. We love you.
Wait, you want me to fade it out?
Yeah, we fade out. Yeah, fade out.
I'm gonna mute you guys. Okay.
Yeah, you can mute us. Let me just play this. We love you. We'll see you guys next time. Fatal Lunch Podcast.
We are the Fatal Lunch.
Peace.
Your dog is 1914, the world is ending, I'll be ascending to the afterlife. The Garden of Eden being made, but all I got is a Gatorade. DJ, help me out with some of these lyrics. Wires on my face, eating skin in a jar. I'm gonna go to India and eat at a restaurant, but first gotta stop by the street and get this gooey sweet treat drink. Fascinating characters or Thor, Hulk, and Monkey. I can't remember everything we spoke about today, but it was a good episode. I had a lot of fun talking about stinky cheese, man. Oh, stinky soap guys make it lyric rhyme. I'm about stinky cheese, man. Stinky cheese, man, don't smell like him. He smells like stinky cheese, man. Very perfect anyway. Thank you for listening to Podcast. This is a bluegrass. Listen to the first and then the second one. We're gonna say a great thing, but we need you to be a part of it. We need your support, right? Yes.